Hi, Patrick, Walk for Lost Kids. I want to start by saying my thoughts are with all the parents and kids that are out there that are forcibly being separated from one another. The problem is not truly just parental alienation or the court system. The true problem is a very tightly married, if you excuse the pun, series of problems between parental alienation and the court system, and the fact that a large number of people just don't see how these things progress. And I kind of feel like part of my role in keeping the ball rolling and trying to get some reform change is to educate the people that are out there, either within divorce reform or just the population as a whole, as to how this is occurring, why it's occurring, and the fact that these people that are complaining about how horrendous the situation is, they're not just crying the blues as, you know, some freak divorce situation. This is actually an epidemic. It's taking place in great numbers, to thousands of people, thousands of kids being separated from their parents. And it's just a question of when the media and the law system will actually catch up with what's going on. So I've produced this video, which I hope will help educate people as to the things that are occurring, and I hope you take a few minutes to look at it and share it around, and hopefully we can get some changes made. Thanks.
To begin, the courts have large financial incentives to have unequal custody scenarios. So an unequal custody scenario is immediately going to create more conflict, pressure for fighting for the majority of custody, temptation to alienate the children, and a justified mistrust of the family courts. Phase 2 is advantage alienator. Alienators have a lot of advantages in the court system, and the courts actually favor the alienator. I'm not going to go into a lot of length at this point to discuss the personality types of an alienator, but generally they're charming people that play the victim well, and they're willing to put a lot of money into the lawyers to win a court case. The second part, which is a little bit more obscure, is the alienator is actually favored by the kids. This is how this happens. Children do not want to be in marital conflict. And anytime that they feel that they're in the middle of conflict, they are going to be stressed and are going to do whatever they can to get out of that scenario. They care about both parents, they want to be in the lives of both parents, and they don't want to be put in the middle. Now, an alienator is very willing to put the child in the middle in order to stress the child out so that the alienator can dominate in the relationship with the other parent. The problem from the child's point of view is escaping the conflict. Even when the child is in the other parent's household with a parent who isn't creating an alienation problem, the alienator, through texting, through phone calls, through interrogation when the child gets back, can keep that same level of stress on that child even when the child is away. And so the child comes to understand that the marital conflict is a function of being with the other parent. And over time, that child's desire to be out of the stressful marital conflict makes the child prefer the alienator, and in very many cases, the abusive parent. And as a direct result of that, because the way the system is set up, the alienator will get additional custody, and additional funding for being able to increase the child's desire to be with the alienator. Now, it's important to point out that the conflict that this child is trying to avoid can be created by only one parent. It is seen as conflict between two parents, but it can be created by only one parent. And in many cases, that conflict is then associated with the other parent. And with very little coaching, the child can then vocalize that the other parent is the problem, because the child has come to see that feeling horrible about this marital conflict is only relieved when the child is with the alienator. So now we're to phase 3, the crushing of one of the parents. The alienator has used the court system. They've convinced the child that the other parent is the problem, and the other parent is crushed. The increased separation from the kids causes stress, anger, and depression. The child support demands that are currently on the parent are unrealistic and drive the parent into poverty in many cases. The winning parent is permitted to continually use the legal system to pummel the losing parent in court. And losing parents who don't simply go along with this entire process are deemed uncooperative by child support and the court system in general. So what are the final outcomes? The final outcomes, like courts are set up, is for there to be a winner and there to be a loser. And in many cases within the divorce court system, the outcome is the complete elimination of a parent in the child's life, parents that are driven so low into poverty or depression that they no longer can maintain a household suitable to even parent, parents incapable of escaping the mounting child support debt, and in a lot of cases that are televised, that are shown in the media, these things end in suicides, murders, child support incarcerations, and a whole host of child of divorce issues like drug overdose, teen pregnancy, teen suicide. And then, of course, the ultimate outcome is completing the cycle. The child grows up learning the system, learning to become an alienator, and learning that using a combination of courts and parental alienation, he or she can crush people in order to make money.
Now again, because the problems we're looking at here are so complex, it's going to take a while for this all to get fixed. And to oversimplify exactly what needs to be fixed is not a simple task. But if we could fix one thing, just make one change that would make a heck of a lot of difference in a lot of these cases, that would be shared parenting. If we can just get on the books a simple law that forces the hands of the courts to say, hey, if there's not abuse going on here, then the custody needs to be split 50-50. That's it. We need those laws in place to force that the judges make that decision out of the gate, and that the judges aren't willy-nilly bouncing custody around because they have that power to do so. So I encourage you to sign petitions for shared parenting bills and to come out and vote when we can finally get these things on the ballots. Thank you very much, and keep hanging in there. There's always hope. Thanks. Bye.